Hello, my name is Brittney Spencer and this is my life in rewind. I am an 18-year-old singer-songwriter and guitarist. I am from Indiana. I've been on this app called BandLab for almost a year, maybe even a year now, and it has changed my life. The first ever song that I did that was a big deal to me and it caught a lot of people's attention was a song that I forked from somebody on BandLab called Motivation. So the song Motivation that I wrote, I remember a day or two after I wrote it, I was at lunch with my boyfriend and I remember my phone blowing up like every 5 seconds, every minute, every 5 minutes, and it made me realize that this is actually something that I can do, that being a musician and putting out music is actually something that I am capable of doing. So after I did that song, I kind of got the motivation to keep going. So after Motivation, I wrote a song called Runaway. And I wrote it initially for somebody who was going to collaborate with me, and it was one of my first collaborations, or that I thought it was going to be my first collaboration. And I remember I wrote the song and I wasn't sure about it, and I didn't know if it was gonna be good enough for him. Unfortunately, never did get back to me. And so another person came along, and his name, or he goes by the name TechRec on BandLab, and he's like, "Oh my god, I love your music, do you want to collaborate?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I showed him the song and he loved it, absolutely loved it. To this day, that song is super, super special to him and I both. And we both really, really love it. And the song is called Runaway. Another pivotal moment in this whole journey of mine so far has been this song that I wrote called Hiatus. I wrote it, it's kind of like what I pictured would happen if my boyfriend went with me on a trip to South Carolina, and I wanted it to be like almost kind of like a daydream. I'm like, oh, we're in paradise and everything, let's swim in the ocean, and let's sit out on the beach, at night and just, relax, and just, it was kind of like a daydream kind of thing. And that song actually ended up being my first ever song on Spotify with the help of a friend by the name of Paranoid Android. And he actually really taught me a lot about Spotify and putting my music out and having people listen to it. So one of my biggest songs that I've made happens to be this song called Tragic Romance that I made with my friend Outer Image. So the song is based off of Romeo and Juliet, and it's kind of a more modernized version of Romeo and Juliet. A lot of people may be split on whether it was real love or if it was lust, and this song kind of talks about that in a more modernized way. All very romanticized, very dramatic, very, you're kind of in this world, like almost kind of like a movie, blurring that line between lust and love, because a lot of people don't really realize, what was lust and what was love. And then by the end of the song, everybody leaves and she's there alone, and the party's over and everybody's gone, and it's early in the morning and she has no idea what happened. In my 11th grade year at school, I was in a music class and I was given this project where I had to make a small little demo EP, and I wanted to go all out. I wanted this to be something that I was proud of, but at the time I didn't think of it as that big of a deal. I didn't know that I would one day draw inspiration from this EP and actually use it for Spotify and for YouTube and actually make a real EP or even an album out of it. So the first song that I started with was Siren, and it's based off of my life, and it's kind of talking about this love triangle. It's very dramatized. It's very very creative, very cool. I kind of had like these images and these scenes in my head of what I wanted to portray in the song, and it turned out really good. Some other songs that I wrote for the EP were Lost City, Gold Teeth, and another song that I did on guitar called Red Roses. I've met a lot of amazing people on BandLab, and honestly they have helped me so much, so tremendously, that I can't thank them enough. So one of my most vulnerable songs that I've ever written, and one of my most proudest songs that I've ever written, is called I'm Sorry. And it's kind of like saying, you know, oh, what I said before, you know, I don't actually mean it. It's kind of like you're being honest, but then you're taking back what you're saying because you're afraid of that other person judging you, or you're afraid of that person being like, oh, you don't actually feel like that, when you do. That kind of reflects society and how in society we want to keep hush-hush about things that are hard to talk about, and you can't really talk about it with other people. I remember coming home and I was really sad, and I suffer a lot with depression and anxiety, and being in places where there's a lot of people and feeling very alone, you know, and feeling like I'm not being heard, or feeling like people don't care about what I have to say. And in the song I felt like I could be empowered and just say how I felt in a way that people will listen. So one of my first kind of like experimental things on BandLab have to be with rock music. I'm not a rock star in any means. Like, I love pop music. I've done pop music, or like left of center pop or electronic music, but never like full on rock. And I mean, it has electronic influences in it and rock music, but nothing like Phantom. There's this guy on BandLab by the name of Treen Lavery, and we've become amazing friends. And I remember way back when, well, he told me this story, but he told me how he found me is this guy told him, he's like, hey, you need a female vocalist on this instrumental. Like, it would be really cool. And he gave him a list of people, of female vocalists, and I was the last one that he said. And he's like, I want Brittney Spencer. And so he's like, hey, like, Outer Image knows Brittney Spencer. He does a lot of collabs with her. Ask him. And it was kind of like that cheeky thing where it's like, oh, I'm too afraid to like say anything to her. like I'll talk to Outer Image, and Outer Image will contact me. And so then Outer Image, he got to Outer Image, and Outer Image got to me, and he's like, hey, you want to join the song? As soon as Outer Image sent me this song, I literally fell in love. I remember I had school the next day, and I was dancing in my room, and I didn't even do my homework, and I was just so happy. And I had all of these images of like skulls and like everything that I wanted to say to all of my haters, or like, you know, like kind of came up with this persona where like I could be me but also not be me, and like play this character of like what was in my head of what I wanted to say to everybody who hates me. So So one of my biggest, and I mean biggest songs, like bigger than any of the other songs that I talked about, this one song blew up, okay? It's been played 2,000 times, and I can't believe that, like, 2,000 different people, or people who've played it that many times, have listened to this song over and over and over and over again. And it honestly, like, the feedback that I've gotten from it, people messaging me and commenting on my stuff saying how they relate to this song and how they send it to their friends and their families and how they listen to this song on a daily basis, or even like them playing it at parties. It's just crazy, you know, how music can bring people together. That song became like a huge thing on BandLab that I actually came up with a playlist called In My Feelings Collection, and I put all of my most moody songs on there, so like everybody who finds closure in my music can listen to that playlist, so then those people can find closure and just, you know, cry it out and be emotional. And I think one of my biggest messages in my music has to be that it's okay to not be okay. That you're fine being emotional, that you're okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, you know, it's okay to feel certain ways, you know, that there's people out there that will listen to you, and that people care about you, and that, you know, and I devote my time and my energy and my creative juices into everything that I do for music, just so people, you know, can find closure and to know that it's okay. This happens to be up there with Feelings and I'm Sorry, and it's a song that I wrote called Reviving, and it has my boyfriend talking in it, and it's really, really cool. It's kind of more story based, but it's definitely one of my favorites. So in 2018, my music has been played a ton, and it's crazy to think that, because way back when I started doing music, or I started playing guitar, people weren't listening like they are now. And it really, really means a lot to me that you guys actually care and you guys listen. My songs have been featured on the top Pop 40 playlist on BandLab. You know, my In My Feelings collection has been featured on the front page of the pop channel on BandLab, and that's crazy. In the new year, I am working on an EP, and then after that, I will be working on an album. I hope to have the EP out in the next few months, maybe around February, March, maybe. I'm really looking forward to putting out new music for you guys to listen to, and to dance to, and to cry to, and to laugh to, and to be happy to, and show your friends and family. I can't wait to make 2019 even better. Thank you guys so much to all of my friends for listening to my music and for supporting me and caring about me and loving everything that I'm doing and being inspired by me. That really, really makes me feel really good inside. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And thank you guys, all of my followers, for even caring about my music and actually loving it and playing it and dancing to it and everything in between. Thank you guys.